right, and thanks to CS Toys, arriving today, the DX TRIDORON from Kamen Rider Drive. It is his vehicle. He doesn't have a motorcycle, at least not in his type speed form, although the car seems to change through it. Although it looks like Kamen Rider Mach, the second rider, is going to be the motorcycle rider. This is his vehicle. And it's a pretty decent representation of the car on the show with the weird tires. I think my only complaint, and it's a minor one, is that this missing fender section here, on the show, it's there, and then it pulls back when he morphs to shoot the tire off for the tire koken. And I wish they'd given us that, because it doesn't affect, you can see it's on the other side, it wouldn't affect the transformation process. And I get what they were going for, but it would have been nice to have that panel that covered this section, just to have the complete car. Here it kind of looks a little open, because it doesn't usually drive around like this. A minor issue, but we'll just get that one right off the bat. Now the canopy opens, and if you have the TK01 tire koken drive, he can sit inside of it. You can position him if you get really fiddly. You can get him to where he's holding the steering wheel and sitting all the way back. For the sake of brevity, I'm just going to set him in here, so I'm not fiddling for 10 minutes trying to get him to hold the steering wheel. It is possible, but it's not easy. But he does fit inside there, and you can close the canopy, and it rolls all right. Now there's a switch down here. It does come with two LR44 batteries, which is nice. They're already installed, so you just flip. You doesn't have to worry about finding AAAs or anything like you do with the drivers and such. We just flip the switch here. Ride on TRIDORON, and that's that. Now this canopy comes out as it transforms between the three different modes. So when you plug it in, here, I'll just go ahead and. There we go. So in the standard mode, it's type speed. This is his standard mode, his standard tire, until we get to type wild. And I think that the tire koken figure for that should be out this weekend. I know Wotoku Fighter has already gotten some samples in hand, which means CS Toys will probably get him in this weekend, even though he hasn't shown up on the show. I don't know if he's showing up this week or next. But yeah, so that's his base form in the car mode. And aside from that, yeah, it does work. It comes with the Midnight Shadow shift car and the Midnight Shadow tire for the tire koken figure. And we'll cover that in the tire koken set, which will be coming up. Or maybe I've already done it. I don't know what order I'm going to put these up yet. But it does have the little shift car, the Midnight Shadow shift car. This is the DX shift car, which does flip in one. Kind of got a spring lock there. And now I see how they work in the driver. Like these other three are just the capsule toys that I picked up. I got Funky Spike, Type Speed, and Max Flare. And if you don't know why I wanted Max Flare, then you haven't been watching my videos. But these click around. They still work in the driver and everything. They're just the slightly cheaper versions. They don't have the spring in them, so you have to ratchet them all the way around. You can't just flip it in one flip like that. On the Midnight Shadow. And the Midnight Shadow one has a little bit more heft to it, probably because of that spring mechanism built into it. But these seem just as good, just to have a representation of them. I don't know if I'm going to get the driver this time around, because drivers, you get them, you try them out a few times, and they make some noises, but then they just kind of sit on the shelf. So I wanted a couple of the cars, especially Max Flare, but I don't know if I'm going to go full on the driver. Now, in a couple of weeks, you're probably going to see me doing okay, so I bought the driver. But we'll see. I don't have any plans right now to pick up the driver. But it interacts with these, and there's no specific, while they do have, you can see there's different groove sets on the bottom here, that's how they activate the sounds in the driver. And here, they plug in, they don't even really plug in, they kind of sit in the back, and they only activate one noise. You just plug it in. And that's all you get. It's the same no matter what car you put on there. And like I said, they don't lock in. This is making the noise. They don't lock into place. They just kind of slide in and sit there. So if you're messing with it, it's going to fall right out. But it's a neat little, I guess, interaction with the little shift cars. Now, the main function of this, aside from being his vehicle, and even if you just bought it for the type speed, it's kind of a fun little vehicle. There's a button here that makes different car noises. And it'll do that the first time, and then it will cycle just through some car noises. So when you first push it after putting it into type speed, it does the Go TRIDORON, and then it does just those three noises, kind of a driving noise, a different driving noise with some gear shifts, and then a squealing brake noise. And that's about it for the type speed mode. Now this whole middle section canopy pops out. Come here, you. It pops right out. And this is where all the electronics are housed, in this main chunk right here. But we'll set that to the side, and then you take this, and basically all you do is flip these wheels over and flip this whole assembly over, turn it around like this, and then plug this in the top, and that's going to be his type wild, and he'll announce that when you plug him in this way. And I like type wild because it kind of has the face on the front of the car here. But it's just the car backwards with, it's just this type wild mode. And it does take on more black. The type wild armor is black, and black and white. And this kind of covers it. It turns more black. Obviously it shows more black here in the type wild mode. And it's got some different sounds when you push the button back here. It's just that one sound over and over, but it makes it sound more like a heavier vehicle. And then this is the same thing. And really, it's a little easier here than in type technique, but you're not really going to set the car in here. It slots in easier when it's in type speed mode. So that's type wild, and then there's type technique. And in this case, you actually break the whole frame of the car. Well, you don't break it, but you unplug the frame here. Bring this around like this, and then this plugs in. I'll flip the wheels back over and plug this into the back here. And then on here, and here you've got the green. It looks like type technique is going to have a green color to him, just based on the logos that I see on the back of the box for the TRIDORON. Where's your little finger hole? There it is. So you bring these little mechanical arms up, and this pegs on right here and in the back here. You slide this down. That's the sound it makes if you're not attached to anything. That's the sound the tire player button was. But plug. He's going to tap on these front pegs. Type technique, and I like the design of type technique. It's like a little /car mech, and he's got these posable arms. And again, we'll know more about that when it shows up in the show. I haven't even seen pictures of type technique yet. I don't think well, I mean, I'm sure some people have, but they haven't been made public yet that I'm aware of. So we'll see that. And then again, it's got more of a kind of a mechy mechanical noise when you push the button in the back. And that's really all there is to the DX TRIDORON. Like I said, it's a nice. I mostly bought it for the shadow flare tire or midnight flare tire, which I know is not, welcome to the rabbit hole. Let me lift these up to get this back in. Yeah, I mostly because I wanted this for my Tire Coken figure, but I do like to have the accessories or the vehicles for the figures. So now I've got the TRIDORON car that Drive can sit in. And we'll cover those, like I said, I showed off the capsule toys along with the DX cars here. And like I said, any of them will sit back here and make that noise. What's also cool is the capsule toys came with little different colored versions of Drive. I love these little mini PVC guys. They're kind of like, they're not as big as Muscle Men, but green, obviously red came with Type Speed, green came with Funky Spike, and orange came with Max Flare. And I may have to get a couple of the other ones to get some of the other colored little drives because I love these little dudes. Gaim had a few that came with some of the capsule lock seeds as well. But there's the DX TRIDORON, and like I said, we'll show off the Midnight Flare tire, or Midnight Shadow, yeah, Midnight Shadow, with the DX tire set too, which will be in another video. So yeah, thanks to CS Toys. There is the DX TRIDORON from Drive. Okay, one last thing that I just realized I forgot. All of the tires from the Tire Koken figures you can store them all the way they shoot off in the show. You can actually clip them on all the wheels here. I meant to show that off and then just completely forgot. So there's Max Flare, Funky Spike, and Midnight Shadow on that side. We can put Massive Monster, and Justice Hunter over here. And if you want to take the one off of Drive himself. So with the TRIDORON and the first two Tire Koken figures, although Drive looks kind of silly without a tire, it's hollow. You can have a wheel on all 6 of them. So you can store, without just having them sit around, you can store them all on the TRIDORON itself, which is kind of nice. So yeah, just a little thing I forgot to show off. There it is, the TRIDORON, DX TRIDORON, with the tires attached.